insurance company called me up and they're offering me about $2,000 to settle the case. Should I take it?
Well, let me ask you this. Is that the first offer?
Oh, yeah, of course it's the first offer.
Okay. Rule of thumb is just never take the insurance company's first offer. That's something that these insurance companies will often try to do to an unrepresented plaintiff, somebody, an unrepresented individual, injured person, is that they will make them an offer that seems appealing at first. But anytime the insurance company is making an offer, an initial offer, there's room to negotiate. There's so much of dealing with an insurance claim is negotiations. They're going to initially, what do they have to lose? They're going to try. Generally, the insurance company wants to pay as little as possible in order to make the claim go away. It's important to think about the relationship between the insurance company, an at-fault driver's insurance company, and that at-fault driver. The insurance company has a contract. They're trying to protect that driver, and they're trying to do it at as little expense to them as possible. So they know that they have to pay something to settle this claim. But what they're trying to do is buy a liability release from you. So they want to pay you as little as possible so that you, as the driver, signs a document saying, I'm not going to sue that driver. But they want to get away with doing that for as cheap as possible. It's like any situation. All right, so you want to buy something, they can haggle about it, but your first offer is never something. They're never giving you what this claim is worth. Now, they may never get to a point where they're paying you without litigation exactly what that claim is worth or the full value of the claim. But they're certainly not going to offer you that full value initially. They're going to offer you a low amount because they don't have anything to lose. Let's see see if you bite. And if you take it, they get that liability release for cheap. They protected their insured, and everybody can go about their day. But you're still injured. You still have pain. You still may need to go to the doctor.
One thing I do want to add, though, that is really important to remember is, it's not just signing that can get you that release. Sometimes they will take it as an oral contract. Now, a lot of people think oral contracts don't exist in Texas, and they do. We have seen those cases where the guy just said, yeah, I'll agree to the $2,000, and then they got released of their claim, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I actually broke something, or I've got a fracture somewhere, and they'll come to us, and I'm like, it's too late, buddy. You already agreed to that. They've got a recording of you saying that you accepted $2,000. That's why it's important not to take their first offer, but also understand that if you said yes or agreed to it over the phone, you might still be on the hook.
Yeah, and sometimes those insurance companies will just send you a check. They'll send you something in the mail that was maybe sort of loosely discussed that we can pay $5,000 for your medical bills, and you say, okay, that sounds good. So they send you $5,000. You don't understand that you're settling your claim. You may not even sign a release document, but on that check is written somewhere in there in small letters, full and final payment. You take that check and you deposit it in your account, and then you have just settled your claim with the insurance company for $5,000 when your claim was actually worth 10 times that. So it's not always that the insurance company is going to throw money at your claim before you've submitted medical expenses or before you've begun to try to settle the claim yourself, but it happens more often than you'd think. So it's important to talk to an attorney, again, sticking with that theme, up front to find out, so an attorney can get in front of those conversations, so that they're making sure the attorney's there to protect you. That's what our role is, to protect you. So look out for your interests. So we try to get in front of those conversations so that the insurance company is not trying to pull some sort of fast one by swooping in and getting you to settle a case early. But on the other end of things, after we've helped build your claim, just to give you some insight into how we handle negotiations. We've helped you build your claim. We're submitting a demand to the insurance company for payment on your claim, and they come in with a low offer. That's going to happen every time. We'll tell you about that offer. We'll present it to you, wholly expecting that we're going to reject it. And we don't want you to get discouraged just because a low offer comes in, because they try the same thing with attorneys as they do with individual drivers. What do they have to lose? Look at it from their perspective. They give you a low offer. If you take it, great. They do that with us too. They'll come in with a low offer. If we accept it, then great. They got away with paying less, but they're never trying to pay you the full value. So that initial offer, we will always recommend to you, don't take it. Let us negotiate. We're going to send a counter to this. And working with a competent attorney who knows a good place to counter, who's properly valued your claim, and can come in with a good negotiation position and say, look, we're starting here because this is what your claim is worth, or we start high, and then we work our way to a good negotiated agreement. But that initial offer, that's just an opening. It's not a place to stop ever. I would never recommend taking that first offer. Yeah, even if it's given to you before you've ever spoken to an attorney. Then you talk to an attorney, you're still going to get something better.
Yeah, I think it's important to emphasize that a lot of these cases in which they're offering you money up front, like right away, like right after the accident, like that day or a couple days afterwards, as you said, it's a good way of thinking about it. They're trying to buy a release. They're trying to buy an end to this for them. And if they're offering you money that quickly, your claim is definitely worth way more in the hands of an attorney who knows what they're doing. We're going to be able to get you way more for that case than what you can get on your own. I almost guarantee that. Now, and another important thing to understand is that, they may say, and you get some of these adjusters are a little bit clever, and they'll say, look, just go to the doctor and send me the receipt, and we'll pay you for that doctor visit. Okay? So we'll make sure to take care of your medical bills. Now, some clients interpret this as an open-ended, they're going to offer me $1,000 and then maybe just like a little bit extra for the medical bills, my copay, which is like, $20 or $100, depending on how many visits I have. But they're going to stop that very early on. And if you settle that case for them, once they get that agreement on file and on record, it's pretty much over. So if you start having more pain, like the next couple days, where you're like, my back is really in a lot of pain, my neck is in a lot of pain, or I'm feeling dizzy or whatever, too late, man. There's nothing we can do at that point because you already agreed to release the case. And this is why you should talk to an attorney. Attorney is going to get you properly evaluated, get you seen by a doctor who's going to be able to look underneath the hood, as I like to say, and be able to say, like, look, you know what? I know you feel fine right now, but there are some underlying issues that this kind of really rattled in you that's going to present themselves a little bit later. That's going to hurt you. It cause you a lot of pain or cause you a lot of issues later going down the road. And you want to make sure you are compensated properly for that.
Yeah, and the thing I'd add there is that I think the insurance companies are very bad generally at assessing non-economic damages. So things like pain and suffering and mental anguish and physical impairment. The things that most car crashes are really most injuries, whether it's, we keep talking about car crashes, but we handle lots of other things, slip and fall cases, or, anytime somebody's hurt and it's not their fault, these injuries are often worth much, much more than just the medical bills. The medical bills is a very narrow story about how a car crash or an injury affects your life. Yes, you've got bills to pay, but there's a much, much bigger human story about how your life has been affected, how your family's been affected, the things that you can and can't do after a crash that you could do beforehand that really change your quality of life. Insurance companies are not good at those sort of, I guess, kind of messy damages, but we can help you figure out how much those are worth. And at Ellis and Thomas, we don't sell liability releases cheap. We're gonna get you a proper evaluation and fight for full compensation here. Those first offers will tell you to take a hike. We'll build a good case with you. We'll work hard to get full value.